My name is Sloan. I was a logger for 18 years in my younger days. And now I'm a fisherman logging. I bought a fish boat and decided to go fishing, but ironically, the way we've logged has had a fairly severe impact on the fishery, but I was actually helped log Gold River's timber supply out in 15 years. It was supposed to go on forever.
I believe it has been proven that sensitive ecoforestry practices actually yield a lot more wood off the land because when you clear cut, you can only go back after the trees have regrown, and when you do single tree selection, there are large trees growing right after you're cut, so you can go back perhaps after 5-10 years and harvest more. Old growth wood grows along the stem that either has no limbs or dead limbs, and that wood has quite a different characteristic. It makes much stronger boards, for example, much more rot resistant. And these old growth characteristics can come back if you leave the forest alone to develop these characteristics, but in plantations you don't have very many old growth characteristics. The tree that they have difficulty with is a cedar, because a cedar doesn't do well in an open area when it's young. It doesn't like to be out in the open until it's much older. One effect that is not evident to a lot of people is exactly how soil loss occurs. Nutrients do not hang out on the site unless they are taken up by organic material. So you have nutrient loss if there's an imbalance between growth and decay. A healthy ecosystem always has this balance, and this is why the water that flows out of a healthy ecosystem is pure.
We're here on a slope, and part of what the roots do is they stabilize the slope. Now, as the roots die and start to deteriorate, the slope is going to lose some stability, and that can cause the earth to move. As it rains, it can cause landslides. Once the soil loses its tree cover that protects it from torrential rainfalls, and the root cover that tends to hold it in place, it can become very susceptible to being washed down a slope, down into a watershed, and silting up the watershed, and eventually washing into the ocean and affecting the marine life.
Because you strip away all the trees on a mountainside, the spawning grounds get silted up and can no longer exist. When you take the trees away, you either get either floods or deserts, so that it affects the streams very badly. When you get big rains, it's basically a disaster for the salmon, the way we've logged here. If you logged it responsibly with selective logging, there would have been enough trees left to hold the moisture, hold the groundwater. You'd have had the forest reproducing, but they've clear-cut big stretches here, and it's coming back in alder and arbutus, even though they've replanted it, because they've destroyed the structure of the soil that would support coniferous trees.
In a reforested stand, all the trees are all the same age at all the same time. Uniform age and uniform species, and even uniform genetics. Well, old-growth forest will tend to have mixed age stands and mixed species stand. One thing that an old-growth forest will do is it will tend to keep a lot of moisture down towards the soil. Now, the roots can't do it alone. They work in concert, in symbiosis with soil organisms, mostly fungi.
I loved it, and I thought it was a great profession, and if it had been done with some ethics and some sense of responsibility to the environment, it would be going on forever. And emotionally, I find it really disturbing that we're such an immature and vandalistic culture that we can't control our greed and think of later generations that need to use these forests. Quite possible to harvest these forests sustainably, harvest high quality wood, and do it in a manner that you don't destroy the environment, ruin the trees, and actually affect the oceans. I hope that the governments and the logging industry in this province gets a grip on reality and stops doing what they're doing and has some ethics and sensibility about the environment and future generations. I would hope that eventually we see the light.